Hello, hi. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna fix the lighting real quick. Alrighty, I don't think that really did much, but hi, how are y'all? Let's see. I guess I'll just turn on this light. Well, okay, there we go. How's everyone doing? Oh my goodness, today is a big day. I'm sure y'all know by now. At least most everyone knows. I woke up to the news because I came home really late last night, and I woke up probably about 2 hours ago. So Joe Biden, new president, finally got the thing out of the White House. By the way, if y'all support him, the door. And I don't want you on my channel. Bye. But yeah, Joe Biden, he's the president. Hopefully things will look up, and we'll be able to, get on the Paris Agreement, which I'm really wanting to do because, Trump is an idiot and took us off of the Paris Agreement. So we'll get back on that. And hopefully there'll be efforts to, help with global warming and climate change. Besides COVID-19, of course, but like that's one of my biggest concerns is with the climate and everything, because it's getting a little out of control and something's got to give. And, at least Joe Biden and co, they believe in science and global warming and all of those things. Let me get this light out too, just so y'all can actually see me. Because it's like the lighting in my room is just absolutely horrendous. There we go. This is perfect. Okay, I'm gonna turn this light off now. Okay, we'll do this. Cool. Alrighty. Should I put in contacts? I might do that. We're gonna get up again. I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're good to go. Okay, I'm on the right Wi-Fi. Cool. Okay. Alrighty. So I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. I know that I am. And so, as a result, I felt like, in honor of Biden winning the presidency, I'm going to do the bees in my record collection because I haven't updated that video. And I need to. So we're going to do that right now. By the way, if I get any phone calls or texts or anything like that, because my friends and stuff, they might be texting me or calling me, I might take a pause and take the call. So, but before we jump in, I wanted to just kind of just sit and chit chat and talk and, just kind of shoot the crap and just see. I'm just going to pour this solution into this can because I'm going to throw it away anyway. Ew, there's something in here. Something. I don't know what that is. You can go on. Oops. Okay, so it's my left eye. I'll also show off some new acquisitions that I've gotten in the A since my last video, because there's been quite a few. There is one new Tory. Sorry, my eye is really red right now. It'll probably go away here in a minute. There's one new Tory. A couple of new Fionas, because Vinyl Me Please, they've been they reissued Win the Pawn, and then they put out a purple, or they call it aubergine. It's like Barney purple, really, of her new album, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, which came out this past April. So now the only Fiona Apple album that I need is Extraordinary Machine, and that one is hella expensive. So I'm looking forward to Vinyl Me Please reissuing that, and I'm sure they will. I tried to tweet them about this, but they just kind of, they sort of beat around the bush with it, as they do. Vinyl Me Please is very funny about these things. I'm sure it's because they don't want to give people the wrong idea and tell them, oh yeah, we're gonna put it out, and then they don't get a deal with the record company to actually release it. So, I guess it's just one of them things, But anyways, so yeah. What else has been going on? I might do a possible tarot reading later throughout this video. I'm not really expecting anyone to jump on here. But if they do, that'll be cool, as I always say. I don't really do lives for the sole purpose of talking to people. I just do it just because it's it's the easiest solution, really, to just record the video and go instead of uploading it. It just makes it a whole lot easier. I mean, and plus it's kind of fun because it's like you can be kind of unfiltered, like, because with any other video I would have to edit it, tweak it, and it would seem kind of robotic at times. So I'm kind of glad that I can just do lives instead. And I think I kind of like this format a little bit better. And I don't really like editing videos anymore. I used to love to edit videos when I was a kid. When I was, I want to say I was probably about 10 or 11. Yeah. We had this really primitive video editing software, and it was made by this company called ArcSoft, which, if you know anything about ArcSoft, they were basically like, it was kind of like the great value version of like Adobe. And they sold the stuff at like these like little discount stores or dollar stores or whatever back in the 2000s and 90s. But anyways, we had one of those, and it had like a photo editor, and it had a video editor and all that stuff. And like the way that it had it was kind of like a storyboard, and you would just kind of like splice videos together. You could put like little transitions in between. It was very, very basic. And I remember I made a video, and I worked tirelessly on this. So I really got my first taste of video editing when I was 10 or 11 years old, because I was making this video, and it was basically like a slideshow of like pictures and stuff I had taken on like my little cheap little digital camera, the ones from the 2000s. And like you would take a picture and you wouldn't even know what it would look like until you plugged it into your computer, and then you could look at all the pictures and stuff. I feel really old talking about this, but anyways, so yeah, I compiled all these pictures that I had taken. Hi, how are you? So where was I at? I compiled all these pictures together and made it into a slideshow, and it took me like, I don't know how long, probably 2 or 3 days maybe. And oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What do you need help with? But yeah, it kept crashing on me is what I remember. The computer kept crashing because it used up so much RAM and memory and all that, We will do a tarot reading later. So if you want to, step back, and you can come back in about an hour or so, that would be awesome. But I'm not doing tarot right now. I'm going to be doing that in probably about an hour or so. So yeah, we're going to be just talking for a little bit. Okay. So anyways, yeah, the computer kept crashing on me and stuff. And then that's when I, got my first taste of video editing. But anywho, so yeah, where am I at? I'm trying to think of what I want to do. I keep losing my train of thought. Okay. So I guess we can get started on showing off records. I definitely want to do that first. Actually, on second thought, do you pronounce your name? I probably will butcher it, and if I do, I'm sorry. Marwa. If you're still on, we can do a reading real quick, just kind of a quickie. If you're still on, I noticed the thing changed from 2 to 1, so she might not be on here no more. I don't know. Well, I'll give her a minute. So. I'm so excited about this. I mean, you know, I don't 100% like, I mean, I feel like I'm more on the progressive side of politics than I am, but I mean, I'm a registered Democrat, but I feel like I'm more progressive, but I'm really happy that things turned out the way they did. I'm really glad. You know, I was really worried that, I mean, because we've gone through 4 years of just absolute madness, and it is so nice to get a reprieve from all of that. And just breathe a little bit. But that doesn't mean that, like, oh, it's all over, you know, like Black Lives Matter and all that sort of stuff is over. Like, no, we still got a lot of work to do. I'm trying to think of something clever that Janet always said or something. I just keep thinking of, there's a track on this album and it's called Can't Be Stopped. And I'm just thinking of that kind of, and then the line in Rhythm Nation, it's time to give a damn, let's work together. And with music by our side, to break the color lines, let's work together to improve the way of life. To voices in protest, to social injustice. A generation full of courage, come forth with me. People of the world today, are we looking for a better way of life? Say we are a part of the Rhythm Nation. Woo! Okay, I believe that she is gone. I have to remember that, like, I think when I put tarot readings in the title, it's really easy for people to search this. And that's how I get a lot of my viewership, apparently, is from when people, they pull it up for tarot readings. And, you know, and I just, I'm not trying to, you know, be mean or anything like that, but that's not 100% my forte. I only do it just for fun. And I only do it when I feel the need to do it. And not every live, I'm going to be doing that sort of thing. I think I put possible tarot in the video description, and that's what I meant, is possible tarot, because I really wanted to just come on here just to talk and show off my records and stuff. And if I feel the need to get the cards out, I'll get the cards out. I'm not really, you know, like I'm not 100% skilled on tarot and that sort of thing. I'm just now learning about it. I've been doing tarot for about a year now. So, you know, I'm still learning the cards. I know a lot more about the cards now than I did a year ago. That's for sure. But, you know, there's still a lot of work to do. And I feel like as time progresses and I start doing more readings, especially on myself, like they're really helpful on myself, then, you know, I'll be able to master it. You know, I feel like practice is what I need to do. It's just doing like lots of practice. And I'm okay with doing questions and stuff. But like, just remember, y'all, that that's just one facet of what I do. I'm not like these other YouTubers who have just like one set thing that they do. Like, I like to do all kinds of stuff. You know, I like to talk about music. I like to talk about other things and talk about what's going on in the world and entertainment, as well as tarot. And it's just kind of a fun little hobby for me. It's not really something that I take like super, super seriously. At least not like the way, like when I like as me as a tarot reader, not necessarily for other people. Cause I feel like the ones who are more skilled and they actually make a living off of tarot readings, they probably take it a little more seriously than I do. But I guess we can go ahead and we'll get started on records and stuff. Let me pull out some that I have recently gotten. Give me just a second, y'all. Okay. I think okay. There's just a few A's that I've gotten, or at least the ones that I see. I don't think I showed this one in that other video. I'm not 100% sure. My memory, if my memory serves me correct, I think I skipped this one because it was a 12-inch single, but it's still really cool, and I'll show it anyway. This is Paula Abdul's Rush 12-inch. I like Paula Abdul. She's a fun performer. Not a great singer, but she's a fun performer and just a solid pop act. I think she was great. She really went after the Janet Jackson archetype, and she kind of molded it in a way because, you know, she was Janet's choreographer for a while. But anyways, here's the gatefold. This is a limited edition gatefold with picture disc. I only paid like $5 for it. But it is made in England. I found this randomly at the record shop. When did I find this? Probably about a year ago, something like that. But and I saw it and it was like, oh, picture disc, because I'm not really 100%. You know, like it really depends when it comes to 12-inch singles. I used to buy these by the pound. When I was first getting into records and buying them, like I would go to the dollar section and be like, "Ooh, I like this one. Ooh, I like this one. Ooh, I like this one." Then I ended up with a bunch of 12-inch singles that I'd never listened to, so I had to get rid of them somehow. And a lot of them I just couldn't sell, so I'd have to just donate them. But this one's really cool. This one's an exception. I definitely have a preference when it comes to 12-inch singles. I most definitely, like, if I find a Madonna one, especially from like the 90s or 00s with the picture sleeve, I'll buy it. Like I recently got her Justify My Love album, or not album, sorry, 12-inch single. And yeah, I had to get it because first of all, the cover is fantastic. She's like leather clad and she's got this leather vest on and a leather hat, and she's kind of just like, you know, just got this real tough look on her face, and it's one of my favorite pictures of Madonna. But it's got some really great remixes on it, and a lot of Madonna's early 90s remixes are really good because they were remixed by like William Orbit, who she worked with for Ray of Light and Music, which are two of my favorite Madonna albums. And of course, Shep Pettibone. We can't talk about the 90s, early 90s, late 80s pop music without talking about Shep Pettibone. He probably made remixes for virtually every pop star back then. Janet, Madonna, probably Michael Jackson, probably Paula Abdul, Mariah Carey, you name it. Okay, so I'll show the Fiona ones first. Okay, so this is Win the Pond, Fiona Apple. This is the new reissue that came out. Unfortunately, this doesn't have the cover of her where she's like smiling in the distance, because that picture was taken by her ex-boyfriend and she didn't want to pay him any money because he was kind of a pile of garbage. So it just kind of has just kind of this plain basic cover, but it's okay. I kind of wish they done the whole poem though, like they did here, because it would have just looked really cool. And then here's the other portion of the sleeve. It's just a plain black vinyl, nothing too crazy, but it's just nice to have, and it's one of Fiona's best, honestly. And I love it. Like I jump on any of the Fiona Apple ones, to be honest, because I remember a time when it was hard to even find Fiona Apple albums on vinyl. Now you can just find them wherever you go, so that's pretty cool. Here's her new album, Fetch the Bolt Cutters. This is the purple vinyl. I have another copy that's coming, and it's just a plain black vinyl from her store. And hopefully I'll be getting that this month, because I got the deluxe CD and the sweatshirt and the cassette. And so here's the vinyl. It's so pretty. I love that color. Honestly, that's the perfect color for this. Honestly. But this is probably my favorite album that's came out this year. I love Fetch the Bolt Cutters. It's so good. Fiona Apple never disappoints. Not for me. Nope. This sleeve sucks. Oh my god. I'm gonna put a new one on. Oh my god. Okie dokie. I'm just putting in a new one. Okay. Let me show this one first, and then I'll show the other one. Okay, so this is a new Tory, Unrepentant Geraldines. I have two, or actually three more of her albums to get on vinyl. I don't know if I'll get Night of Hunters or Abnormally Attracted to Sin. I have not listened to Night of Hunters, but it's really expensive, and I don't really see myself getting Night of Hunters anytime soon. I don't really see it. But Abnormally Attracted to Sin, I've made up my mind in the last few years or in the last few months, I should say, that I really need to stop being a completist. I really just need to buy the albums that I'm going to listen to and not spend it on albums that I'm not even going to listen to. Like, it's so stupid to buy albums that you don't even listen to. Like, I know I listened to this one. I haven't listened to my vinyl copy, but I did listen to this occasionally, and it's kind of Tori's return to form. Kind of after like a decade or so of her just kind of experimenting and, kind of going through these weird phases and stuff. And especially, in the earlier portion of the decade, this past decade, she kind of went into a classical route, which is Night of Hunters and Gold Dust and oops. No, we don't want to leave the site. Oh my goodness. But yeah, she kind of went into a classical route. So this is kind of her return to form. This is kind of similar to the stuff she was doing in the 90s with like Under the Pink and Little Earthquakes, Choir Girl Hotel, that sort of thing. She looks amazing in these pictures, dude. Like, love her. I'm not really super huge on the album cover though, but it's kind of quintessentially her in a way. Quirky, like Tori. So I give it a pass, Okay. Okay. There we go. So I was really excited to find this. So if you watched my other video, you know that I have got pretty much all the original presses of Tori Amos's albums that have been released on vinyl, and that's really exciting. Not a lot of people can say that, but I invested a lot of money into Tori's albums because I adore this woman to pieces. But there was only one that I had that was actually a reissue, and it was not an original pressing, and that was her debut, Little Earthquakes. And Little Earthquakes is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. I'm not ashamed to say that it's my favorite Tori album. I know it's very basic of me to say that instead of like To Venus and Back or Scarlet's Walk, which I love Scarlet's Walk and I love To Venus and Back. But Little Earthquakes to me is very, very special. And I know it's special to a lot of other people as well. And, you know, it really, it's one of the few albums that has really been there for me these last couple of years that I've listened, or last few years that I've listened to it now. And I feel indebted to it in a lot of ways. And I wanted an original pressing of it, even though I had a reissue. I'll probably end up giving the Little Earthquakes one to somebody that I know who is also a huge Tori file, probably a bigger Tori file than I am in a lot of ways. But anyways, here she is. The OG Little Earthquakes. This is the original 1992, and this, you can tell it's thin as fuck. This is the original pressing from 1992. This is from Europe. It's on the East-West label instead of Atlantic. It even has a different label. It's actually kind of weird because the label, it has East-West on here, but the way that it's typed out, it looks like the Atlantic Records label. It just doesn't have the Atlantic logo and the green and red colors on it. It's just a black one without the Atlantic logo on it, which is kind of interesting to me. But yeah, I listened to it a couple weeks ago. I think I got this about a month ago, I want to say, and I finally listened to it a couple weeks ago, and it sounds pretty good. It's not too bad. I haven't really decided if I want to keep my repress or just give it to that Tori file friend of mine. So we'll see though. I might give it to him for Christmas. That is, if he'll talk to me. Give me just a moment. I'm going to put these up real quick, and then I will continue. Okay, get that one in there. I'm just gonna wait. Okie dokie. Oh goodness. Oh my god. So much Joan Baez. Anyways. Okay. First one. Bad Company. Badass band. Love Bad Company. The title track, they definitely stole the melody from Joni Mitchell. And I'm surprised Joni did not take them to court and be like, hey, I want some royalties, because every time Bad Company comes on, I'm always like, is this Woodstock? Because it's literally the same chord structure. But I love it anyways. I just wish that they would give Joni Mitchell her damn coin. At any rate. This is just kind of a basic like album cover, really, and design. But anyways. Next we have Bodywism by Erykah Badu. This, I hate this. I don't hate this album. I hate this pressing. I hate it so much. And for the longest time, this was the only one that was available, and it was kind of cheap. Obviously, because it doesn't have an actual cover on it. It seems more like a promo pressing, but they actually sold it as like a reissue. Did I get this? I think I got it at, I swear I got it at like Barnes and Noble or something like that. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, this is one of my favorite albums is Erykah Badu's Bodywism. But like they took so many freaking tracks off of this thing so that way they could just fit the album onto one LP instead of stretching it out to two. And on top of that, like the cover is just so, it's so basic. I hate it so much. I want to get an because they finally put out a reissue a couple of years ago with the actual album cover and everything, and it's the whole album. There's no songs exempt from it, and it's stretched to 2 LPs. I want to try to get that at some point. I don't know when. I don't know. And just do that. And then get rid of that one. But anyways. Oh goodness. I have so much Joan Baez. This isn't even all of them. Like I kind of, this summer I was really listening to Joan Baez, and I'll be honest, sometimes her stuff can be a little daunting. I mostly got a lot of her albums because they're just really cheap to find, to be honest. I think there is another one over there in my crate, and it's like a bootleg issue of like her earliest recordings from like the late 50s. I'm not going to get it out just because it's a bootleg, but I just thought it was kind of interesting to have it. But I know this summer I kind of went through a little bit of a Joan Baez phase a little bit. But at the end of the day, I really liked 2 of her albums. The rest of them is kind of like which there's some of them I haven't listened to. But I will say that her debut, just simply titled Joan Baez, I really like this album. This is when she was still kind of traditional. When she started out, she done a lot of traditional folk, and so she done stuff like this album has like Wildwood Flower, House of the Rising Sun, Little Moses, John Riley, Donna Donna, Silver Dagger, East Virginia. You know, like it sounds really old and ancient in a lot of ways. It's just so fascinating how folk had a revival in the 50s and 60s, and these people were singing songs that were written like 100, 200 years prior. It's just really interesting, and they might even be older than that. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, this is like her voice sounds really haunting on songs like East Virginia and Donna Donna. I think those are probably my favorites off of this one, and House of the Rising Sun. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is volume 2. This is her second album. I think it was released a year later, and it's kind of the same thing. It's just traditional folk. Nothing too crazy. Then Joan Baez in concert. This still has the cellophane on it from when somebody bought it. What was fascinating about her concert albums is that she didn't put any of the songs that were on her LPs onto the live albums, because apparently back in those days, a live album was considered an LP, and it was like new material. And like I noticed that with a lot of folk singers, is that Judy Collins, the same kind of thing, where they would release a concert album and then they would just consider that as an LP. So that's why one of her albums is called Number 3, and then it's the Judy Collins concert, and then 5th album. They were so creative with album titles, am I right? Like Joan Baez in concert, Joan Baez Volume 2, Joan Baez 5. They were so creative. God bless. Oh my goodness. That one's okay. That one's got a little bit of a classical influence on it, which is kind of cool. Then we have Farewell Angelina. This is a pretty good album too. I like Farewell Angelina. This is when she started dating Bob Dylan, and then that's when she started covering some of his songs and started veering out of traditional folk and went into more contemporary folk. So there's a lot of songs. There's a couple of traditional ballads. There's one in German. Let's see. Bob Dylan, Woody Guthrie, Donovan, Rhodes Hayes. I don't know what that says. Bob Dylan. So yeah, this is kind of a mixture. It's more like a transitional album. And then we have Joan, which I haven't really listened to much except for Eleanor Rigby. Her version of Eleanor Rigby is on this album. She does a lot of sort of poppier stuff. And then Baptism. This is where her album titles finally started getting a little interesting. This is a gatefold as well. It's really nice. I think this is mostly like spoken word poetry and kind of. Maybe this is where Lana Del Rey got the idea for her Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass, I think is what it's called. Bent Backwards. Yeah. I got it right this time. Okay, cool. Hi, how are you? And then we got David's album. I believe David was her husband. He was a Vietnam protester. Cool stuff. There's a lot of these I haven't listened to yet, but I need to. One Day at a Time. I hear this one's kind of a countrified album. She kind of went into a little bit of a country vibe in her later years. Hold on just a second. Oh gosh. Okay. Then we have Blessed Are, or Blessed Are. I don't know if it's Blessed or Blessed. But this is a double LP. I think this is her first double, I think. There's the lyrics, and there's this. This has her first like official pop hit, which was The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, which is a bop, and it's very 70s, like heartland rock, country, whatever. You know, it's kind of similar to like the stuff by the Eagles. I think it's fun. It's fun to listen to. Then we have Where Are You Now, My Son? This is a really interesting album, and then this is where she went to a major label, and I think Blessed Are was her last with Vanguard, which was like the label she was with for like a decade, the first decade of her career. Then she went to A&M Records and tried to kind of go a little mainstream, just a hair. Like she still was, you know, trying to do her own thing, but let's see. I do believe that these songs she had wrote herself, maybe. She did 1, 2, 3. And then her sister wrote 2. And then there was another one written by somebody else. And then the second side is really interesting. The second side is basically it's a very long track. It takes up the whole second side, and it compiles these audio recordings that she did when she went to, I think it's pronounced Hanoi, Vietnam, you know, during the Vietnam War, because this came out in like 1973, I think. And the recording she made was in Christmas of 72. And you can basically, like, I think she pretty much went there just to kind of like mingle around with all the people and talk to them and stuff. And it ended up she got into the middle of a crossfire where some Americans were throwing bombs and stuff. And like you can hear in the recordings and stuff, and you can hear like there's people crying. And then there was this one lady, she was like basically running all over, and she was frantic, hysterical, and she was basically saying, "Where are you now, my son?" And Vietnamese, of course. But and you can hear like Joan's friend, he's basically explaining to the camera, wow, the tape recorder, like what's going on, and he's describing everything. And then you hear stuff like, you know, them going to this like bomb shelter, and I think they also were like singing some songs and stuff together to just kind of make themselves feel better, and you know, not make them feel so stressed out and tense, because all this just complete madness is going on out here that they just didn't expect. And she got it all on tape, really. And then it's kind of like the tapes are spliced together with a spoken word poem that she did, basically describing the experience of being there. And then she sings the chorus. It's like, "Where are you now, my son?" It's a really interesting album. It's definitely like not one of the first that you should listen to, even though this was the first this was the first album of hers I listened to. But it is what it is. I just got a cassette of it, and I was like, I'm gonna listen to it, you know. I ended up liking it okay. It was fine. But now this is a great album. I love this album, Diamonds and Rust. This is probably her most well-known album, I would say. It came out in 1975. The title track is a song written by Joan about her relationship with Bob Dylan, and it's quite intense. Let's just say Bob Dylan was not the nicest person to date, not the greatest person to date, obviously. I don't think he like abused her or anything. He was just an asshole, really. But I'm not sure of the whole story, though. I need to read more about it. But this album is very, very contemporary. It's very contemporary. Like there's some songs here that she wrote herself, and then of course the usual Bob Dylan fare. There's a song here by Jackson Browne. She even covers like Stevie Wonder, Janis Ian, who was really tearing it up with as a songwriter back in the 70s. And she eventually had her own hit with At 17, the same year that Diamonds and Rust came out. Dita is really fun. It's basically like Joni Mitchell is on it, which I absolutely adore. I think what had happened, I just wanted to wear the Janet shirt just because I felt the need to wear it. But and we're just showing off just some records right now. But anyways, yeah, Dita is really fun. I think Joni was I think she was recording her Hissing of Summer Lawns album, or Court and Spark, I think, at the time. And Joni recorded, thank you, I appreciate it. She was in the same recording studio as Joan was, because Joan, she was with A&M. And even though Joni wasn't with A&M, like she was recording at A&M. Like that was basically her like home recording studio. And that's where she recorded all of her iconic albums. And I guess she just decided to just kind of come in and chime in with Joan. And it's basically just them just dee-da, 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 dee. Like they just basically just did that the whole song. And you can just hear Joni going dee-dee-dee-dee. And I'm like, oh, I love it. And then the backing band is the LA Express with Tom Scott, which is the same band that Joni worked with on Court and Spark. And I think the Hissing of Summer Lawns too. It definitely sounds like a Court and Sparky type song. It's really cool. I like it a lot. And then last Joan Baez album, From Every Stage. This is a live album from the late 70s. And it has a few of her hits on it. The Night That They Drove Old Dixie Down, I think. Yeah, Diamonds and Rust is on here. She also covers stuff by Dylan, of course, and Leonard Cohen, a bunch of other contemporary artists of the period. Yeah. I know, I hate it, but at the same time, I don't know. Sometimes I really like her kind of smoky voice, her older voice in a lot of ways, especially on the re-recording she did in 2000 of Both Sides Now, which her deep voice just really puts that song into perspective. And it's really interesting hearing her sing that song in her older years when she wrote it when she was in her 20s. And I think now the song really rings true for her even more than it did when she wrote it when she was young, which is really cool. But I definitely am. I love her younger voice when she would hit those high notes. They were absolutely incredible, especially on like songs like A Case of You and Help Me, and what's some other songs? Oh, Goodbye Pork Pie Hat. That's one of my favorite ones of hers where she hits those high notes, like that part in the middle where she's like, dee-dee! I'm like, oh, I can feel that in my soul. Okay, anyways, so this is like a random album that a friend of mine gave me because he knew I liked the Beatles. They were like I think they were like a covers band or something. It says the Liverpool's Beatlemania in the USA. This is obviously something that came out when the Beatles first came to America. Oh, All I Want. Yeah, definitely that song. But yeah, there's just a bunch of Beatles songs on here. She Loves You. I Want to Hold Your Hand. Please Please Me. I Saw Her Standing There. I haven't listened to this, and I'm curious to know what it sounds like. I might listen to it one day. Okay. Oh, I got this one recently, and I was so glad I got it because every time my local record shop, he posts pictures of his newly oh gosh, new additions to his store, right? And a lot of times when I see UK pressings, like original UK pressings of the Beatles albums, they almost always get taken, and I hate it. Well, I finally got one of them, and it was Rubber Freaking Soul. Oops, there we go. I don't know why it was flipped like that. That's weird. Anyways, so this is a UK pressing, original UK pressing of Rubber Soul, Parlophone. None of the because if you know anything about the Beatles, oh, I love the Beatles. I adore the Beatles. If you know anything about the American releases, the Capitol Records releases of the Beatles albums, you know that they took tracks off of those LPs, right? I think. Let's see. I'm trying to think. The original starts with Drive My Car on Rubber Soul, and I'm trying to think of the one that starts on the American version. I think it's You Won't See Me. I'm not sure. Something like that. I don't know. But they exempt several tracks, and they put them on a compilation album, the ones they got rid of, which I would like to still get them anyway, but like it's not really a priority for me right now. But yeah. So there's Rubber Soul. And then we have Revolver. This is not, sadly, a original pressing. This is just a reissue. But we will be getting rid of this once I do get an original of Revolver. I love Revolver. This is like probably when I like really started to fall in love with the Beatles, because it's got some of my favorite songs by them on here, like Eleanor Rigby, I'm Only Sleeping. I'd like Yellow Submarine, Good Day Sunshine, Dr. Roberts, Tomorrow Never Knows, which is insane. I love Revolver. That's probably where my love affair really got started, and then it just kind of cocooned when I first listened to Sgt. Pepper, which is my favorite Beatles album. Here we go with Yesterday and Today. This is an American thing. This is the compilation that they put out of all the tracks that they took off of some of their albums. Wow, they took Yesterday off of Help. Jesus. And Drive My Car. Drive My Car and Nowhere Man off of Rubber Soul. Day Tripper is on here. There's some singles on here that weren't released on LPs. Day Tripper is one of my, oh my God, I love Day Tripper. I remember when I first listened to the Beatles 1, which is where I kind of got introduced to the Beatles, is on the Beatles 1, which is a great compilation. Just absolutely incredible. And it's a great way to start with the Beatles if you really want to get into them. I really thought this was interesting because if you take a look here, there's a sticker. I hate that they covered up Paul's face, but whatever. Army and Air Force Exchange Service, which I thought was really cool. So this might have belonged to someone who was serving in the war. I don't know. But I like to think. That. So, anywho. Eleanor Ruby twice now. Oh, look at all the lonely people. Whew. I love that one. Here we go. Sgt. Pepper. One of my faves. Oh my gosh. I was so excited to get this original. This is technically not really original. Like it's from the 70s. But I call it original. So, but yeah. Sgt. Pepper. My favorite Beatles album. I adore this album. I love it. It's so kooky. It's so insane. And the ballads, they are also good. I love them. Like, I remember when I first heard She's Leaving Home, I cried. I thought that song was so sad, and I felt really connected to that song because I've thought about just leaving my parents' house and not even telling them that I'm leaving. Sorry to say that, but like it's true though. Sometimes I felt like that. We've all felt like that at some point. So, but yeah, the album cover is really interesting. I've always been fascinated by the album cover. Fascinated by it. What's some other ones? I love Lovely. Like this album just gives me so many late spring, summer vibes to me. I mean, just hearing like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and Fixing a Hole and Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite, A Day in the Life. Like I just think of just like that sweltering heat in the summertime. It's one of those albums that just feels really summery. Like I love listening to it in the summertime. There's albums like that where it's just like it just kind of harkens you to like a specific season. It's like Fiona Apple's Title. That's a very wintry album. And then this is like a summery album. And then you have like Song to a Seagull, which is kind of autumny, you know. Oh, definitely. Magical Mystery Tour. I haven't listened to this one yet. And I've had it for like a year now, and I paid $30 for this. Good God. Tyler. Oh my gosh. Includes 24-page color picture book. That's cool. I've listened to this album before. I just haven't listened to the my LP. So, ooh, she's coming apart. She's old. We'll just have to be careful with this. Blue is like the Crisco of music. It's good for any season and every season. But I do have to say, like, I definitely enjoy it a little bit more when it's colder outside. But I do still love it, like, just because blue is always great for any season, really. This is a really interesting. Oh, I love this picture. It's so hippie. I love it. Wow. I didn't know that this This book was so messed up, but it's okay. I this is an old LP, like 50 years old probably, so I'm not surprised. This has Penny Lane on it and Strawberry Fields Forever. Strawberry Fields Forever is one of my favorite Beatles songs. It's a very interesting song. It's one of their more just kind of oddball songs that I really like. We have the White Album. This is also a 70s pressing too. Luckily, with the later albums of theirs, the American presses, they didn't screw around with the track listing. Thank God. Let's see what's on this LP. There's so many tracks on here. Why My Guitar Gently Weeps, Happiness Is a Warm Gun. What is that one song? Yeah, Why Don't We Do It in the Road? Man, like, they were crazy. They really were. Like, they literally just, like, put a song about just, like, having sex with their girl in the middle of the freaking road. Like, I'm like, y'all are nuts. Y'all had a little bit too much acid when y'all wrote this album. Helter Skelter. Oof, that's a maddening song. Revolution 9. That was actually, weirdly enough, one of the first Beatles songs that I really got into was Revolution 9. I remember I listened to it when I was in high school, and I just loved how weird and creepy it was. Like, it really, like, honestly, one of the few songs I can think of that absolutely scared the shit out of me. Like, it scared me to bits. I did not want to turn off my lights after I listened to that song. Here we got Abbey Road. This is also an original. I found this last year at a record show thing, and I think how much was this? $20? Yeah. $20. I couldn't pass that up. I was like, yes, I got to get Abbey Road. This is probably the first Beatles album that I really listened to, I think. Because I bought this CD when I was in high school. Just because I recognized the cover and I was like, I really like the Beatles, and let's just start with this and the Beatles one. And those were the two that I really listened to at first. It's a great album. And then finally, we got an original of Let It Be. Their last album. Well, technically, this is their second to last. Abbey Road's their last. So it goes. There's the gatefold. And then there's this. Great stuff. Ooh, we're almost to I got a lot of bees. A lot of bees. Kate Bush is coming, Bjork is coming. Who else do we have? We got David Bowie. Ooh, I'm excited to go through these. Oh, okay. All right. First things first. Miss Pat Benatar. We love Pat Benatar. I love this album. I love Pat Benatar. She's such a badass. I used to listen to Pat Benatar all the time when I was a kid. I think she was probably like one of the first like girl rock stars that I just fell in love with. I adored her so much. I used to listen to Love is a Battlefield at least 10 times. I first heard that song in 13 going on 30 because, you know, like Jennifer Garner's character, she grew up in the 80s, so she like listened to a lot of 80s stuff. Rick Springfield, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson. There was a Thriller scene where they danced to Thriller and got the party bumping and stuff, and then where she was singing with the teenage girls Love is a Battlefield at the slumber party. And I remember the DVD had the music video to Love is a Battlefield, and I used to listen to it all the time. I remember downloading it on LimeWire. Oh, I loved LimeWire. And I remember I made a mixed CD of a bunch of 80s songs. And it had like George Michael and Madonna and Michael Jackson, Pat Benatar. I think it even had some Blondie on there. Just some solid 80s pop hits. I've always loved 80s pop. Always have. This album is really good. I love Crimes of Passion. You Better Run was the second video on MTV. Yeah, it was the second video. It was the video that came on after Video Killed the Radio Star. Fun fact of the day. And it's a great song too. Never Want to Leave You is probably my favorite track on this album. It's just such a banger. Hit Me With Your Best Shot, classic. Hell Is for Children, classic. She does a cover of Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights, which it's not as good as Kate Bush's, but honestly, that's one of those songs that it doesn't really matter, because it's just, if it's not Kate Bush, it's just not going to compare. But I commend her for making a rock version of Wuthering Heights, and she did the damn thing, and I commend her for it. I actually kind of like it, to be honest. I like her version of Wuthering Heights, but still doesn't compare to Kate Bush's. But I do like the fact that she liked Kate Bush. I thought that was really cool, especially with the fact that she's an American singer and she covered Kate Bush. And back then, like, Kate Bush, like, she wasn't really known in America that well, really. So it's just really cool, like, that like, I've always loved when, like, American artists and stuff, especially in like the 80s and 90s, would always talk about Kate Bush, because she's just not that popular here, not like she is in the UK. Then we have Get Nervous. I have not listened to this, and I need to listen to it because this cover is so fun and interesting. And then we have Life from Earth. This is a live album, of course, but it also has Love is a Battlefield on it. I had to get it. You know, Love is a Battlefield, man. Next we have, I remember getting this back in like 2013, I think. Azealia Banks, 1991. I love this. She's kooky as hell, but she makes some bangers. She really does. And I wish that she would release more of her stuff on vinyl, but I'm really glad that I have this, because every single track on here, there's 4 tracks. Every single one is really good. But 212, that banger, to this day, a banger. And I love 1991. It's just very, very 90s. She definitely went for like a Crystal Waters type of thing. I love Crystal Waters. She was amazing. She's the one that sung the song Gypsy Woman. La da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da, la da dee, la da da. Let's see. We got the Beach Boys, Surf's Up. I just got this one last week. 212. All those years. Love it. Surf's Up. This has one of my favorite latter half Beach Boys songs, Disney Girls, which I first heard through the Captain and Tennille. I love the Captain and Tennille. I haven't listened to this yet, and I need to. There's a lot of these. It just comes with the territory of collecting vinyl. Like, you go through your records, and I'm like, damn, like, I really haven't listened to some of these. What the frick? But which in my defense, I just got this. So, but yeah, Surf's Up. I want more Beach Boys in my life. That's the only Beach Boys album I have. Actually, that's not true. I do have Pet Sounds, but I left it in my car when I first bought it, and it got warped beyond measure, and I was so mad at myself. Because I went drinking. I went drinking after I went record shopping, and I forgot that I left it in my car, and I stayed the night over at my friend's place. And I forgot that I even had them in the car, and then when I came out, I found they were sitting in my car seat, and they had elongated, and I was pissed. Like, I had gotten that one, and then I got 2 Doors albums. Luckily, the Greatest Hits album I got by the Doors was salvageable. It was fine. I can still play that one. But the other one was a live album called Alive She Cried. I can't play that one either. It's screwed up, sadly. Anyways, let's get off that sob story. Here's the next one. Bell Bib DeVoe, Poison. We know Poison. Poison is a bop. It really is. It's great. No, they got hot from the sun because they were sitting in a hot car and there was direct sunlight coming in, and so they warped from the heat. I'm mad at myself for it. But anyways, yeah, this album, very early 90s R&B. I love New Jack Swing. I think New Jack Swing was a great era for R&B and pop music. Like, Let Me Know Something is a bop too. Dope. But Poison is that's the bee's knees. They did do a couple of ballads on here. When Will I See You Smile Again? And it's just very, very R&B. I kind of like 90s R&B. I went through a really, really insane 90s R&B phase when I was in my early 20s, because I love the 90s R&B sound. They just made a lot of great, just like, if they weren't making bangers, they were making like baby making music and stuff. It was like you either had like the Sade's or you had like the Janet Jacksons, and it was great era of pop music. I love it. Okay, so Beyonce. Oh my gosh, I love this. I spent a little bit on this when it first came out, and I was so excited to get it too. But this is a stellar. I always show this one off when my friends come over. I have to show it off every time because it's just it's such a pretty album. Sadly, it got screwed up. Like, it got really messed up in shipment. The cover did anyway. So there's a lot of like little gashes and stuff on the cover. And but I mean, it's okay. Nobody's perfect. So and it came with this booklet, which is so gorgeous. Honestly, these pictures that she did for this era are so freaking good. And she basically took images from each of the tracks, videos, and put them in this booklet. That's one of my favorites, is Ghost and Haunted. Drunken Love. We love Drunken Love. It's a great song. Still a bop. Still a banger. Blow. Oh, I love this song too. And she looks so gorgeous in this picture too. She always looks gorgeous. No Angel. And then Beyonce and Partition. And then Jealous and Rocket. Mine. There's just a lot of really solid tracks on here. But you know something? You know the crazy part? I have not seen all the videos for this album, and I really should watch all the videos. I've only seen, I've seen this one, XO. I've seen Drunken Love. I've seen Partition. I've seen Partition. Flawless. Pretty Hurts. Ghost, Haunted. Yeah. I've seen a few, but I need to see more. Oops. That's one of my favorite, Beyonce looks. She's badass and flawless. I woke up like this. I woke up like this. With flawless things. I woke up like this. I woke up like this. Like, Beyonce and Lana Del Rey, they pretty much invented the Instagram aesthetic that we now know today. Seriously. Love that. And then there's the back. And it came with a DVD of the visuals, which I thought was really cool, which I have not. I've never played, and I want to. And then there was a download card in here for the audio, which I burned to a CD, and I thought the CD was the burned CD was in here, but I guess not. Or maybe I took it out a long time ago. I'm not exactly 100% certain, but I thought the CD would be in here that I put, because I made a copy of it. Oh well, it's okay. Anyways, okay. Let's see. I also have Lemonade, which I'll show you in just a minute. Once I get this in here. She is thick. Gotta get her in there. Park that big Mack truck right in this little garage. Okay, sorry. Lemonade. This place looks cooler than the storage room. It absolutely does. Thank you. Yeah, this is my room. There's all my posters. That one way back in there in the dark is my Joni Mitchell poster. It is an original from 1974 for the Miles of Isles album. It belonged to a radio DJ, and I bought it on eBay for like $40. That's the most I've ever spent on a poster, but I got it anyway. And then I got this Joni poster, and then this Joni poster, and then there's, excuse the mess, but there's my turntable, my setup, and all of that. I got some things up over there, like my Cher poster and an Elton John magazine, and picture of the Carpenters and Kate Bush's Hounds of Love, my second copy of Hounds of Love. Anyways, here's oh, and I got a Tori Amos poster over there too, which I love. I love my Tori Amos poster. This is a bootleg of Lemonade, which I know there's now an official pressing of it, and I need to get it, but thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I need to get it, but like it's not really a priority for me. Like I can handle this one, you know. But I do like the way that they did the colored vinyl on this from the bootleg, because they did one like a yellow color, I think. Let's see. It was like a clear yellow. Yeah. So it looks kind of like lemonade. Actual lemonade. And then we got this one. So we got pink lemonade. I thought that was kind of cute. I like that. That was a nice touch. It doesn't sound too bad either for a bootleg. Okay, and then we have Cheap Thrills, Big Brother and the Holding Company, one of my favorite albums of all time. I love Janis Joplin. She is one of my heroes. There she is with Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane. This is a great album, and I love this cover. It was made by a comics artist. I don't know the name of the comics artist, but yeah. And then there's Miss Janis. And then there's the gatefold. Good stuff. This album, I love all these tracks. Ball and Chain, so good. Like, it's like a 10-minute long track, I think, but like it doesn't even feel like it's 10 minutes. It feels like it just. Oh, I love Janis's laugh. She was just such a great spirit. I love her, and I feel kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, she's a kindred spirit of mine. Because we both have the same personality types. We're both ENFPs, and she is a Capricorn. I'm an Aquarius, but like the fact that we're like right next to each other as far as zodiac signs, I'm just like, she's my sister. So, anyways, okay. Let's do this. Okay, so let's do Bjork, shall we? We love Bjork. We love Bjork. Bjork. Debut. This album. This was probably the first Bjork album I ever listened to. Like a lot of people. I first got into her. Oh, you're a Leo. Rhymes with jerk. I love that. I know so many Leos who just are so like like they love Tori and they love Kate Bush, and I feel like that it's just kind of like a synchronization type thing. It's crazy. Like there's so many Leos that love Tori and Kate, and they're both Leos. So I'm like, that's your twin. But debut. This was the first album I heard of Bjork's, and I first got into her when I was getting into like grunge and alternative rock, and of course, Bjork kind of gets weirdly like stuck in between like all those bands and artists and stuff like that of that era, which I've never really understood why, because it's like Bjork is nothing like Nirvana or Pearl Jam or anything like that. She's alternative, but she's not alternative rock, but oddly enough, she was on like 120 Minutes on MTV and all those shows and stuff. But anyways, but I had that CD and I had Post, and then I just kind of stopped listening to her for years for some reason. She just kind of got lost in the mix. And then last year I started getting back into Bjork, and then that's when I listened to like Homogenic, Vespertine, Medulla, Volta, all of her other albums. And I'm just like, why did I freaking stop listening to her? Because I adore Vespertine, but we'll get into that in a minute. Nuh-uh, she's a triple Scorpio. Whoa. No wonder, like, because like, man, like she's just like Scorpios, man, they can be feisty. It's no wonder she went after that journalist. Welcome to Bangkok. You about to get fucking banged in the freaking head is what you about to do. Debut. What do we think about Debut? I like Debut. It really opened the doors for her. It's not her best, obviously, but it has so many themes and stuff that would pop back up in her music in later years, even up to Utopia. But I love Human Behavior. Crying is one of my favorites, and Venus is a Boy. There's more to life than this. Basically, the first side is just immaculate. I love it. Big Time Sensuality, which I like the remix better than I do this version, but I still like this version too. One Day, Aeroplane, Come to Me, Violently Happy. I think the only track on here that I'm just kind of about is the Anchor song, because it just feels like it just goes on and on and on towards the end. That's really the only one I can think of that I'm just kind of meh about. But this has got some of her best hits on here, so I love it. I have to put her albums in sideways because it opens on the top, which I think is kind of interesting. Okay, next we have Post. This is probably like her first classic, like her first masterpiece. Is Post, and I love this cover. I love it. Honestly, in her early years, like, I'm not gonna lie, and I know I'm not the only one who thought this, I really thought she was Asian. And I was really weirded out when I found out she's actually Icelandic and she's actually a white lady. I'm like she kind of doesn't look it though. Like, especially in this one, she looks almost like Japanese here. It's crazy to me. But yeah, she's Icelandic. I'm like, well, that explains her accent. Anyways. Also, I love to hear Bjork talk. I love it. Especially when she does the tongue rolls. I love the tongue roll. It's so great. And I love how her accent, especially in the Post era, she kind of got a Cockney British accent, which I thought was really cool. Like, because she had been living in London for so long, she basically acquired the accent there. And it just really is interesting how linguistics and stuff works. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. What, I always like half of Bjork albums and the other half kind of meh, can range from 25. Yeah, like that's the way it is with a lot of her albums. For me, it's like they kind of grow on me. Like, because I don't immediately like some of her albums. I know Vespertine I didn't really like at first. But yeah, Post. I love Army of Me. Hyper Ballad is great. It's Oh So Quiet. You've Been Flirting Again. I love You've Been Flirting Again, and then it merges into Isabel. It's gorgeous. Possibly, maybe. But yeah, there's a few tracks on here that I'm kind of about, like, especially the last two tracks. Oh, okay. Whoop, thank you. Sorry, that was my dad. He brought my headphone adapter. It dropped outside. Must have dropped out of my hand when I got back home. Anyways, yeah, Post. This was like the first album of hers that I really liked, for the most part. Let's see. We got Homogenic. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry. Homogenic is a really good album. I can't really listen to it that much though, because songs like Hoga and Unravel, I just like, they can get really emotional on me sometimes, and sometimes I'm just like, just ugly cry when I hear some of these songs, because like, this is honestly like the saddest, besides Vonakira. Vonakira is like just absolutely just depressing, in a good way, of course. Like I like crying to that album, to be honest. But oh, Alexander McQueen, we love Alexander McQueen. This is a great album cover. I mean, she is kind of being culturally appropriative, but we kind of love it. I mean, it looks amazing, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Let's see. Hoga, Unravel. To me, there's a lot of these tracks, because I rediscovered Ray of Light recently. I've always loved Ray of Light, but I just kind of rediscovered it. And since listening to Homogenic, I hear so much Homogenic in Ray of Light. I think Madonna was probably listening to this album a lot. I mean, Frozen sounds like Unravel or Bachelorette or something like that, like it just has that very ethereal, a classical-esque electronic sound. It kind of blends classical and electronic together, which is what a lot of these songs do with Homogenic. So yeah, and she done Bedtime Story too, and that was written by Bjork. So I know she was a huge fan of her, and I'm sure she loved Homogenic when it came out. I even think there was a few interviews from that from the Ray of Light era where she talked about she liked listening to Bjork and stuff. But anyways, yeah, I've always loved that Madonna liked Bjork. So she said it a couple times. She always follows her. Yeah, I love that. All Is Full of Love is so good too. Alarm Call. I love Alarm Call. I think that she codenamed that song Jacko because she thought it sounded like a Michael Jackson song, and it kind of does a little bit. It kind of sounds like something from his Dangerous era, which I really like. When he was working with like Teddy Riley and stuff like that, it's really cool. So yeah, that's Homogenic. But it is a very dark album. It's very dark. Like you have to be in a certain mood to listen to it, to be honest. But sometimes when I'm like really depressed, I can't listen to Homogenic. I can't. But I love Vespertine. Vespertine, I think, is probably my favorite Bjork album. There's a sense of purity to it, but not, if that makes any sense. Like, she just sings about sex in such a pure way. That's such an oxymoron, but it's true. Yeah. And I love that this album, it's a good album to listen to at night in the wintertime, because it's an album meant for that. And I love the artwork for Vespertine. It's just such a great, okay, such a great album. I love It's Not Up to You, Undo, Pagan Poetry, best song on the album, and then Frosty comes out afterwards, and Frosty is just like, it sounds like such like a creepy Christmas song. That's what I call it, and I think that's why it reminds me of winter and like Christmas time and stuff, is because Frosty is just, it sounds so Christmassy with the bells and stuff. Aurora, An Echo, A Stain, Sun in My Mouth, Heirloom. It's just such a pretty album, just a very, very pretty album. So, and then to juxtapose that, which at times is kind of an unpretty album, is Medulla. Yeah, that's sadly unfortunate sometimes, but you know. Medulla. I actually really like this album. It's a very unique album, and definitely one that there's not another album I can think of that comes to this caliber. It's just such a unique album. There hasn't been anything like this before or since Medulla. It just, I think, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a really just interesting album. I mean, like, it really proves just how much of a virtuoso Bjork is, to be honest. And then this is the colored vinyl, which I will show you. This is also a 45 RPM, which really freaked me out when I first listened to it, because I forgot to put it on 45. And you know how it starts with her going like, ooh, ooh. It was like, ooh, like, oh my God, like this sounded so demonic. It freaked me out at first. I was like, oh, this is a 45, not 33. So I had to flip it, but yeah. I'm trying to think of, yeah, Where's the Line? I love Where's the Line. That was like the first track on here that I fell in love with. Oceania sends chills down my spine, and it blows my mind that she performed that. Well, she lip synced it, but she performed it at the Olympics in 2004, which I think is crazy. Like, that's insane that they even asked her to even do a performance at the Olympics. But that's one of my favorites. What's another one I can think of? Triumph of a Heart. I tried to look for a track listing, but there ain't one on here. So, it's on here. Pleasure Is All Mine. Show Me Forgiveness. Desire Constellation, which is really, really pretty, and I think it's based off of a sample of Hidden Place from Vespertine, which is really cool. Mouse Cradle, man, that one's interesting. And I love the lyric at the end where she's like, because it's a song for her daughter, I think, her like newborn daughter, and she says something to the effect of, I'm gonna build an altar to protect her from all the Osamas and Bushes. Like, wow, that is such an aughts thing to say. I love it. Ancestors, that's one. It still kind of is not a digestible song. I'll say that. I'll listen to it if I'm wearing headphones, but like if I'm playing it on the stereo and like my parents are in the next room over, I tend to skip it, because I just don't want them to think I'm like summoning Satan or something, you know, with all the throat singing. But it's really interesting. I'll say that. But yeah, this is a very like global album. It's very worldly to me. Even though it's completely like a cappella. It's just really interesting to me. Very, very interesting. I think Bjork really outdone herself when she made this album, honestly. Yeah, that is most of her music, to be honest. It's not very easily digestible, but it's still kind of fun and interesting to listen to. Then we have Greatest Hits, which I haven't really listened to, but I got it because my record shop had it, and I was like, might as well get it. And I think it's an original pressing from the early 2000s, I think. But it has her greatest hits, duh. But it has a few. It's in Our Hands, which wasn't on any album. Neither was Play Dead, which Play Dead ended up being on a reissue of Debut, which I have the reissue of Debut on CD with Play Dead at the end, which honestly, let me tell you, that's the track that it should have ended on, was Play Dead. I think it's a really great closer. I love Play Dead. That's probably one of my favorite, like, early Bjork songs. And then it has the remix of Big Time Sensuality on it. It's just really cool. But I love the artwork on it too. Getting a phone call. My cousin. I might call him in a minute. I'm almost done, I think. I hope. I'm going on an hour and a half now. I'll call you later. Here is Volta. I don't know why Greatest Hits was in between Volta and Medulla. We need to fix that. That's supposed to go after Vespertine. Yeah, here's Volta. I like Volta. I think Volta is a fun album to listen to. I like for me, like Volta is like considered the black sheep of Bjork's discography, but it's like I don't think there's such a thing as a bad Bjork album, right? Like, I mean, unless you, I mean, her childhood album she made in the 70s, that might be considered one, but it's like she was a kid when she made it, and it's kind of cute actually to hear like baby Bjork singing. I think it's kind of fun to listen to. I don't know if you've heard that before, which I'm sure you probably heard about it. The album she made when she was like 11 in like 1977 or something. But anyways, Volta. I love Earth Intruders. Wanderlust is so good. Really the only track that I think or two of them I don't really like, and it's both of the ones that what's that person's name? It's like Anthony or something, like Antony. I know she's trans, so she goes by she, her pronouns, or within the last few years, I believe. And My Juvenile. Those are the two I'm just kind of like, about. So, yeah. I love Innocence. That's one of the ones that she did with Timbaland, and you can definitely tell. Vertebrae by Vertebrae. Declare Independence. Don't let them do that to you. I love that one. So punk. I love it. It's like her punk rock. Like, how do you pronounce it? Anoni? I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah, Declare Independence. It's like her punk rock influence coming back. Because she was in a bunch of punk bands and stuff back when she was a teenager. She was in one that was called like Put It Up Your Ass or something like that in like Icelandic. It was like Tippy Takaras or something. Like I thought that was funny. It's basically Icelandic for like something up your ass, like put it up your ass or something. I don't know, but it's funny. But yeah, this is a good album. I like it. And this is also the colored vinyl too, which I'll show you. It's one is in red, and then the other one is like a neon green, which is really cool. I don't know if it glows in the dark. I don't think it does. Honestly, I wouldn't want it to, because I have a copy of Billie Eilish's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go on glow in the dark vinyl, and it's a cool novelty, but it sounds like shit. It really does. It sounds awful, but I like the novelty of having that. So, you know, okie dokie. Then we have, I don't have Biophilia, and I need to get Biophilia, but I'm trying to find the blue vinyl of that. But hopefully I'll be able to get that by the end of this year. But anyways, so we have to skip to Volnicura, which is this is the deluxe. I love this cover. I wish that she picked this as the main album cover for Volnicura. I feel like it is representative of what this album is all about, because and this picture is just so fascinating to me. And plus, this is a really cool, interesting, like little cover. It's like a clear cover, and then you take it out, and it's got the cover that is most well known for Volnicura. But I think this cover here is really representative of what this album is all about. I mean, because she's like bent over backwards, which could be representative of like how she dealt with this relationship, is that she really bent over backwards for her husband, and you know, tried to make the best out of this relationship and tried to make the best out of it for her daughter and all of that, and it just didn't work. And you know, the this little part here, it's supposed to be like a vagina, I think, or a vulva, I should say. And you know, I think it represents like vulnerability, just being vulnerable with that partner, and then on top of that, bending over backwards for him, and he just didn't take it, and you know, it was a pile of garbage to her, basically. But it's just a really emotional album. I love Volnicura. I actually declared this as like my favorite album of the 2010s, because it's a very adventurous album, but I think it's probably like the best breakup album to be made besides Blue by Joni Mitchell. If you consider that a breakup album. It is a difficult one for sure, yeah. But I don't know. I felt so connected to it when I first heard it, and like I just fell in love with this album. I did. But it's definitely one that grows on you for sure. But I remember hearing Stone Milker, and yeah, Stone Milker is the emotional needs one. Yeah. That's such a pretty song, and it's so, yeah, it's very emotional. Lion Song, History of Touches, Black Lake, Family is probably my favorite track on this album. I love the like towards the end when it changes into this sort of like atmospheric, ambient type sound to it. It just like, you can definitely like hear her pain in it, and it like merges like the emotions that she was feeling about the relationship and how it was affecting like the family that she had made with him, but also this sort of hope that like things will get better for her towards the end. And I think it's just a really pretty, like, I love the first side. The second side, I like, you know, Adam Dance is good, and Mouth Mantra and Quicksand. But it kind of just teeters just a little bit on the second side. But it's just still just a really great album, I think. And it's just one of those albums that like you just express her grief fully, and then she became fluffy. Yeah, because Utopia is just like pretty, and like I'm playing the flute and I'm so happy, and like I'm like a teenager again talking to all these guys and sending them MP3s and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love Utopia. I don't care what anyone says. I love Utopia, which I have right here. I don't know why this album gets so much flack. I really don't. Like, I think, but Utopia is also sad, actually, isn't it? It can be a little bit, I know Lost is a little sad and features creatures. Sometimes it's a little creepy. Yeah, Arca's production, I think maybe that's why people are so divided when it comes to like Utopia and stuff, is because Arca's production can be a little off-putting sometimes. But I think what Arca does, I mean, she's fantastic. I think she's a great producer, honestly. But I can see where people would be taken aback by her production, though. But I love Blissing Me. The Gate is like one of her best like latter half tracks that she's ever recorded. Body Memory, that's such a really just like interesting song. This fucking miss. Oh my god, I love it when she says that. She says it like fucking. I love her accent. Sometimes it comes out when she's singing. What's another one? Sue Me. Oh, that one's an angry ass one. That one's the one she wrote about her husband because, you know, she was mad as hell at him. Claimstaker, Tabula Rasa. I love Tabula Rasa. It's such a pretty song, and it's kind of her call to action to the younger generations, like me and the Gen Zers and her kids too. You know, it's like how does the line go in the song? Hey, it's something about fixing the fuck ups of the past or something like that. I love that she's so confident that, you know, the younger generations can help fix some of the problems that we've been affected by. Thank you. But yeah, it's just really cool. I think it's neat. So yeah, there's Bjork. An incomplete Bjork, but almost complete. Okay. I might need to put some of these back. Let's see. How much more do I have? Oh my goodness. We still got this whole stack. Like, look how much my bees are. Like, this is taking 2 hours to talk about. Oh my goodness. I'll try to go through these as quick as I can. I might need to move some stuff just so I have room to put it up. So, yeah, biophilia took me a while to really get into, and even there's a lot of it that I just like I can't really get into, but I think it's pronounced cosmogony or something like that. Like, that is a really pretty song. I love that one. Isn't that the one where da, 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 da. I love that melody. She just sounds so pretty on that song. Anyways, Blondie, their debut, Ripper to Shreds. We all know that song. Heaven's Bodies, yeah, that's it. I thought she was saying Heaven's Parties when I first heard that, and I thought that was kind of cute, but like Heaven's Bodies probably sounds a little more appropriate to something that Bjork would sing. So, Plastic Letters. I haven't really listened to much Blondie, but it's like Blondie is one of those bands where it's like I have to get their stuff because I love Debbie Harry. I think she's an icon. Parallel Lines. I love Parallel Lines. Hanging on the Telephone, One Way or Another. Fade Away and Radiate. Sunday Girl. I love Sunday Girl. That's such a cute song. Heart of Glass. Love Heart of Glass. I love Miley Cyrus's version. I know, like we went from Bjork to Blondie. It's so funny. But yeah, I love Miley Cyrus's version of Heart of Glass, and I'm glad she's putting it on her new album. Also, the one that she did with Stevie Nicks, where she mashed up Midnight Sky with Edge of 17. That one just came out the other night. That's really cool. Like I kind of like where Miley Cyrus is going these days. But anyways, so Aquarius. I know. Oh my gosh. Like I'm just like I bounce from different things, you know. Anyways, this is my favorite Blondie album. I love Auto American. This is such a pretty album. Live It Up. Here's Looking at You. That's kind of like where they sort of go jazzy. I think that's kind of cool. The Tide is High. Angels on the Balcony. Oh my gosh, I loved Angels on the Balcony. Rapture, that's a classic. Faces, T-Birds. Yeah, this is just a really, really good album. I love Auto American. It's probably my favorite of theirs. And they were at the peak of their career too. I also, I got The Best of Blondie. I think I got this one for like $1, $2 or something like that, I think. And it's just got all of their hits and stuff. It's even got Call Me. Mm-hmm. Call me, anything on the call me. And then Hunter, which I haven't listened to, but I got it for like $8. I thought I got it for like $2 or $3. Jesus. Anyways. Here's another one that's just a weird change up. Mary J. Blige. I know that hair is so hilarious on that. Anyways, what's the 411? And this is from my R&B phase too. But I loved this album. Reminisce, Real Love, You Remind Me. Mary J. Blige was pretty good in the early 90s. I really liked Mary. She sort of dipped for me after this album, My Life. I couldn't get into her other stuff. But I love this. This album's really good. It's just a very, very, very emotional album too. I think she wrote this while she was like really deep in her drug addiction. I think she was addicted to no, she was on coke. I can't remember what else she was on. But yeah. Then we got Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. This one is one of those, it's like I grew up listening to Bon Jovi because my dad liked Bon Jovi. And he actually had the 45 single of You Give Love a Bad Name. So, Living on a Prayer is on here, Wanted Dead or Alive. It's just some bangers on here. I listen to Bon Jovi every now and then, or like Def Leppard. Shot through the heart, and you're too late, darling. You give love a bad name. Boys to Men, Cooley High Harmony. I've been thinking about kind of getting rid of this because I just don't listen to it. You know, like I liked it when I first listened to it, but like I'm not like super into Boys to Men, and it's just taking up space in my shelf. Like I'm kind of downsizing a little bit on my records. Like I got a stack over here of like stuff I'm planning on getting rid of, and I've been debating on parting with this because I just don't listen to it that much. You know, there's some good songs on here. It's just one of those that I just don't listen to, you know. This is where Beyonce got the sample for Countdown. The 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's from that I think it's from the song or something. That's where that sample's from. So and then we got Bowie, David Bowie. I love this album cover. I first got into David Bowie when I first watched The Runaways, and the part where when Cherie Curry, she's at her talent show and she does Lady Grit and Soul from this album, and she paints her face. Dakota Fanning played Cherie Curry, and I fell in love with that song. And I remember when it first came out, I used to pretend that I was Cherie Curry, dressed up as Bowie, dancing around all over the stage to Lady Grit and Soul. Because I love that song. I think that was like the first track I played when I first bought this album. I was just like, I gotta play it. I gotta play Lady Grit and Soul. And it's the last track on the album. But I like that album. It's good. Diamond Dogs. Love Diamond Dogs. I need to get Ziggy Stardust. I don't have Ziggy Stardust, and I need to get that. Let's Dance. I love Let's Dance. I actually love his 80s stuff. It's really good. And Scary Monsters, I think, is the one. And it's got that song Fashion in it, which was in Clueless. I love that song too. The Let's Dance is really good. I like Let's Dance. Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel. This was one of those I found in a dollar bin. And I was like, sure, I'll get it. I liked a few of Bobby Brown's songs. Every Little Step, that's a good bop. My Prerogative. Yeah. mm. Oh, glad I got to sleep on this. Anyways, Jeff Buckley's Grace. I loved this album when I was a teenager. It was one of my favorites. Also kind of had a crush on Jeff Buckley because he was really, really cute. Not gonna lie. He just had such a beautiful voice. Oh my god. Especially on Corpus Christi Carol. Oh my god. Like it makes me cry. He almost kind of had a little bit of an operatic like vocal on that. He was cute. He was absolutely just why did he have to die? Oh my god, it's so sad. I hate that he died. Like he freaking drowned in a lake, I think. Such a terrible way to go. I hate it. But he's right on up there with Kurt Cobain, you know, as far as just sad white boys who were just very sensitive. Lilac Wine, I love his version of Lilac Wine. And I like Mojo Pen and the title track Grace. Waiting fine, waiting fine. I haven't heard that. I haven't listened to this album in a long time. I need to get back into it. There's so many good songs. So Real. Lover, You Should Have Come Over. His version of Hallelujah. God. He had the voice of an angel. I haven't heard his dad before, Tim Buckley, but I've wanted to listen to Tim Buckley for a while, but I'm not really sure if his vocals are as pretty as his son's. I'm not quite sure, but I'll have to get into him soon. Ooh, we're almost to Kate Bush. I'm so excited. Okay, The Buggles, The Age of Plastic. I've always loved Video Killed the Radio Star. I used to listen to that song all the time when I was a teenager. And especially when there was like YouTube videos of MTV's first day on the air. And of course they had Video Kill the Radio Star's video on there. And I fell in love with this song when I first watched those YouTube videos. And I actually just listened to the album like a year ago. And it's really good. I actually think it's quite futuristic for something released in... let's see, is it 1979? I believe it was. I believe it was 1979 that this came out. Incredible. I mean, this pretty much opened the doors for what was to come for the 80s. And it's got some good ones on here. I Love You, Miss Robot. Of course, Video Killed the Radio Star. Oh, goodness, my phone's ringing again. I'll have to call people back. Astro Boy. I love Astro Boy. It's so pretty. Yeah, this is a good album. Okay. All right, so we're coming to the end of the rope here. I'm gonna try to go quick because I got people calling me, blowing up my phone, and I don't want to answer it right now because I'm busy. I'm gonna show this real quick, and then we'll move to Kate Bush, The Byrds' Greatest Hits. I just got this last week, but I really like their version of Turn, Turn, Turn. So I got this. I'm like, sure, why not? Okay, so now we got to go to Kate Bush. Ugh. Now this video is probably going to stretch for like 2.5 hours because I'm probably going to be sitting here talking about Kate Bush nonstop. The Kick Inside, her first album. Love The Kick Inside. I did not like this when I first heard it a few years ago, and I just like her voice. It can be an acquired taste, but like I was dating somebody last year, and he loved Kate Bush, and he had found a copy of Hounds of Love and The Kick Inside, and I think he found the EP, the one of her in the babushka outfit. And I got intrigued, and I started talking to him about Kate Bush, and he was like, you need to listen to her. And I was like, I didn't really like her when I first heard her, though. Like, she just didn't really vibe with me. And he's like, I don't care, listen to her. And I'm like, okay, well, if your boy tells me to listen to something, I'm going to fucking do it, you know? So I did. And the first one I heard was Never Forever after that. Because I wanted to listen to a different album. You know, like, I probably should listen to Hounds of Love, but, like, I wanted to listen to something else. And I heard really good things about Never Forever, so I started out with Never Forever, and I'm glad I did, because I ended up falling in love with the album, and then that's when the love for Kate Bush cocooned, and then that's when she became one of my favorite artists. And the rest is history. But Kick Inside, this is the American version, of course, with the one of her in the box. I want to try to get the other album covers later. My favorite album cover, yeah, just a little over a year ago, I started listening to Kate Bush and getting into her. Yeah, I know it's weird, but yeah. My favorite album cover from the Kick Inside, because there were several, of course. I like the kite one, of course. That one's a classic, and that's probably the main cover, of course, since that was the one in Europe and the UK and stuff. But but I love the Japanese one. It's a picture of her, and it's close up, and she's wearing this like pink, it looks like a pink tank top or something, but she's just looking dead at the camera, and she just kind of like, just like that. And I think it's just such an ethereal picture of Kate, and her eyes just look so pretty and piercing. And I just want to just like put it up on my wall, to be honest, wherever I can put it. I don't know where, but I'll find a place. My tarot story too. Yeah, like that's it. Yeah, because I got into tarot like a year ago too. So it's funny, you know. You listen to Kate Bush, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I'm a witch now. But I love the Kick Inside. I love it now. Moving is so pretty. I love Moving. Strange Phenomena. Kite. The Man with the Child in His Eyes is one of my favorite Kate Bush songs, and it blows my freaking mind that she wrote that when she was like 13. Wuthering Heights, a classic. We all love Wuthering Heights. James and the Cold Gun. Oh, to Be in Love. L'Amour Looks Something Like You. Room for the Life. Just so many good tracks on this. So yeah. Then we have, oh, Them Heavy People is really good too. Lionheart. All of these are originals, by the way. Like all of my Kate Bush albums are originals. I love Them Heavy People. Rolling the ball. Rolling the ball. Rolling the ball to me. Lionheart. I like Lionheart. I think Lionheart is it's definitely not as good as The Kick Inside, of course, but I like Lionheart, and I think it has a lot of redeeming qualities to it. I mean, like there's parts of it that feels like it's a contractual agreement, of course, because you know EMI was so gung-ho about her releasing an album during Christmas time. But like I think Lionheart is really pretty sometimes, and I love Symphony in Blue and Wow. Don't Push Your Foot on the Heartbreak. Full House, Kashka from Baghdad. Honestly, this is like her gayest album. Let's be real, because Wow and Kashka from Baghdad, very gay. Hammer Horror, one of my favorites. I love Hammer Horror. Such a classic, and I love the video too. I love how expressive she was in her early years. Like, she had the most gorgeous eyes, but like she also had like the biggest eyes, and like I can relate because I have like huge eyes, and like they can be expressive sometimes too. And like Kate is just like, when she gets really in her element, it's just like them eyes, they just start bugging out, and she just gets all theatrical and stuff. I love it. I'm like, I can relate, girl, same. Kate Bush on stage. This is one I found at a record show. I found that Lionheart copy at a record show too. But this is an EP from her live tour that she did in 1979. It has Them Heavy People, Don't Push Your Foot on the Heartbreak, James and the Cold Gun, and L'Amour Looks Something Like You. And it sounds really good. I listened to it one time. And yeah. It's just, yeah, I'm not really super huge on like live albums, but you know, I got it because it's Kate Bush. Yeah, it starts with Them Heavy People. Yep. It's really cool. This is actually a Canadian pressing, which I thought was really cool. Then we have another one that I got at that record show, Never Forever. I was so freaking excited to find Never for freaking Ever. So excited. Like, I got not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 Kate Bush albums that day. I spent so much money, but I didn't care because it was Kate freaking Bush. And I'm just like, listen, I'll spend $200. I don't care. Actually, I think it was like $120 for all of them. Because I got Lionheart, the concert EP, Never Forever, The Dreaming, and Hounds of Love. Solid. I love this cover. I think that's why I wanted to listen to this one first, because I was so intrigued by this album cover, and it definitely represents what this album is all about. Yeah, this one was 20, 18, 15. How much was this one? Oh, this is not the sleeve that it came in. I think this one was like 25 or 20, something like that. But yeah, Never Forever. So good. Babushka. I love Babushka. Delius is probably my favorite on this album. I love Delius. Blow Away, All We Ever Look For, that whole stretch in Egypt. Like, that whole stretch is just A+. The Wedding List. I love how theatrical The Wedding List is. Violin. The Infant Kiss is a little uncomfortable, yes, but it's like, listen, like, it's Kate Bush. Okay, like, she wrote it based off of a book. And like, I don't know why people get so weirded out by it, because it's like, it's just, she just based it off of a book, basically, like she does with a lot of her songs. And I get that it is uncomfortable to listen to, but it's like, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you feel weird. It's supposed to make you feel squeamish. It's what a lot of literature does, you know? I mean, like, read Lolita. That's supposed to weird you out. If it doesn't weird you out, then I don't know what to tell you, you know? And Army Dreamers. Yeah, I love Army Dreamers. And Breathing. It's just, there's so many good bops on here. I love this. I love Never Forever. I also have a reissue of this. And this is a gatefold, which I think is really cool. Because, like, the other one is not a gatefold. The original American pressing. It's just, everything's printed on the sleeve. So, I was going to get rid of this when I found that original copy, but I think I might keep this just because. And plus, the cover it doesn't look really faded, you know? So I'll probably keep it. I'll at least, like, put it up for display or whatever. So. And then I got The Dreaming. I love The Dreaming. I'm so pissed because I have a t-shirt with this album cover on it. I have no idea where it's at. I cannot find it anywhere. I don't know where it's at. And I'm mad about it. And I hope I find it eventually. But anyways. I don't really know what my favorite Kate Bush album is, but I think it might be The Dreaming. I love The Dreaming. No, he didn't take that shirt. No. I wouldn't let him. Nope. I would not. I would never. Because I love that shirt too much. Yeah, The Dreaming. I love The Dreaming, and I love this album cover. She just looks so gorgeous on it. I love it. I love the title track. Sat in Your Lap is so freaking chaotic. How that was the first single off this album, it's crazy to me. Like, only Kate Bush could get away with something like that. There Goes a Tenor Pull Out the Pen, Suspended in Gaffa, Leave It Open. I mean, there's just, it's just such an interesting album, and it's like bop after bop after bop after bop. And then like the second side, The Dreaming, Night of the Swallow. Just when I think I'm king, just for you. All the Love. I love the end when it has all the messages from her friends, from her answering machine. I think that's a. I love hearing that the one guy and he says cheerio. I love hearing British people say that. It's so cute. Houdini. I love Houdini. It makes me cry, but it's like the screaming. I'm like, oh my God, girl. Like, I bet you had to. I feel like she probably needed several cups of tea and copious amounts of cough drops recording this album. Like, Get Out of My House and Houdini is explanation as to why. Like, her voice just, I mean, she just really went hard. But Get Out of My House is, I love Get Out of My House. I do. I love the donkey sound she does. I'm just, listen. Kate Bush is the only person that could get away with something like that. There ain't no other artist that could get away with shit like that. No other artist. I don't care. Not even, I mean, Tori Amos might be able to, but I don't even know if even Tori could do it. I think Kate is probably the only one who could get away with it. And of course, the classic Hounds of Love. Love Hounds of Love. I have recently really got into the ninth wave and really fully realizing its beauty. I love And Dream of Sheep. It's just so pretty and so sad. And then it just takes this dark, sinister turn with Under Ice and then Waking the Witch. I love Waking the Witch. I had to listen to that. I had to listen to Waking the Witch on Halloween when I was on my way to my friend's place. You won't burn. Watching You Without Me. But yeah, the first side, I've always loved the first side. Running Up That Hill, Hounds of Love, The Big Sky, Mother Stands for Comfort, Cloud Bus. I mean, it's just oh my God. Kate. Like, she snapped on this. And not only is this an original copy, I have another one. The other one I have up over there is a black vinyl that I got at the record show. But this one, it's colored vinyl. I had to pay a little bit extra for this, but yeah. I have the cassette marbled version of this album as well, but the tape is horrible. Like, it doesn't play right. It's like it's like like it just has that weird wonky sound to it, like cassettes do sometimes. I have another copy of it that's just a plain cassette that I play, but I just kind of got the other one just at the collector's item, so it doesn't really matter to me. But I could have took it back, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep it, you know? You can listen to it like it's a Bjork album. I love that. Okay, and then we have The Whole Story, which I still have the receipt from where I bought this earlier this year. 1/24/2020. I spent $16. It was $14.99. Whole Story. Greatest Hits album. Has all the hits. And then another one that was a new track, Experiment 4. And then there was a new vocal version of Wuthering Heights, which I don't really like that much. Sorry, Kate. The original always is better. I don't know why Kate feels the need to re-record some of her songs, like her older songs. It's like lightning doesn't strike twice, baby. Like those directors cut out the tracks from The Sensual World and the Red Shoes. I mean, there's a few of them that sound okay, but then there's others that's just like, honey, like this is nothing in comparison to the originals, man. But yeah, it's true though. And finally, just as my computer says low battery, we have the Sensual World original pressing. I bought this on eBay around Christmas time with some Christmas money I got. I love the Sensual World. It's such a pretty album. The title track is one of my favorite Kate Bush songs. She sounds so sexy on it, honestly. Like, I love it. This is probably the closest she ever got to, like, being sexy on an album. Is the Sensual World. Love and Anger. Oh, The Fog. The Fog is one of the most beautiful Kate Bush songs. It makes me tear up every time. Like, it's just such a pretty song. Reaching Out. Heads Were Dancing. Deeper Understanding. Homegirl was ahead of her time when she wrote that song. Ahead of her time. I love Deeper Understanding. Rocket's Tale. That one was good. Of course, This Woman's Work. Beautiful song. That one makes me tear up too. I've cried so many times to This Woman's Work. I remember there was one day I was so depressed. I just played that song on repeat the whole day. Like, I couldn't listen to anything else. Well, I think we've reached the end of the rope. I have went through all my B's. These are all my B's. So that's it. Let me plug my computer up, and I'll have to skedaddle here in a few minutes and give everybody a call back and tell them sorry, I was busy. But I'm glad you had fun. Let's see, is there anything else that I need to bring up? I'll probably do another one of these. By the way, I just remembered that I put in the title of this video that it was Joni's birthday. So I probably won't be able to do a marathon of her music like I've done in past years. I might listen to a couple of her albums. But I usually like go through her albums in chronological order on her birthday just because I enjoy doing that. It's a lot of fun listening to her evolution. But I might have to do that later. But since I'm making plans and stuff. But anyways, this was fun. Today the sun is conjuncting my natal Pluto. Well, I didn't know it was a birthday. Love it. Yeah. Her power, am I right? Like the election results came in on Joni Mitchell's birthday. We love that. So. Oh, goodness. I guess I'm going to be out partying tonight. Since we're celebrating the election. Yay! Fun stuff. I'm really excited because Kamala Harris is the first female vice president. It's like we couldn't get the first woman president just yet, but hey, at least we got the first woman vice president. So 9 p.m. here. It's like 3 o'clock here in the afternoon. So it'll be dark here in just a couple of hours. I hate how it gets dark so early now. I don't like it. Not a fan. Yeah, it should be fun. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but we'll be doing something. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of celebrations. You know, it kind of makes me excited. Oh, yeah, I'm glad I'm not in Iceland either. I'm kind of glad that this happened because the other day I was watching videos of when Obama won and how there was like all these celebrations and people being excited, and there was people all over, like New York City and Chicago and Los Angeles and all these places, and they were just all just like going hard and partying and stuff. And I know it's a little bit hard to do that with COVID and everything, but I mean, hey, it's still exciting. I did repost this video in New York City, and they were singing "Party in the USA," and it was really cool to watch. So I can't wait to go to New York City. Cross your fingers, I get to move there next year, the beginning of next year. Try to. My cousin's really trying to push me to move there in March. I don't know if I want to wait that long. I want to get out of North Carolina. I don't like it here. I've worn out my welcome. And I got a lot of career aspirations. I want to go into like music, hopefully. Work with people to help me make music. And if I can't do that, I'll go into PR work or journalism or whatever. And NYC is a great place to do that. I hope I won't lose my accent, but I can't predict that, because who's to say I might come back home and I'll be talking like I'm from Brooklyn. So, who are you talking to? But I'll be coming back home for the holidays, and my parents will just be like, "What?" As they would probably say, "Oh my God, you're turning into a Yankee." I don't want to say it too loud because my parents might hear, because I haven't told them yet, and I don't want them to talk me out of it. But yeah, I'm excited though. I definitely feel it, and I've done a lot of tarot readings to see like what would come out of it, and it seems like it would be really super promising. I don't know why my nose is so itchy. My allergies are killing me. I think it's this dust in here. Whew. It seems like it would be really promising though to go. So, but I wanna try to see if I can get some like second opinions and stuff from people as well. I know my friend Sylvia, she does tarot too, and they seem like it would be promising for her too, like from her readings. So, yeah. So, hey, if you want to do a tarot reading for me, that would be great. I will pay however much you want me to pay. It doesn't matter. Might have to save up a little bit though, but yeah, I just kind of want to get some like different opinions and stuff, because like sometimes I feel like I can't trust my intuition, and I'm trying to get to that point. It's like, Tyler, you can trust it. It's okay. Okay, I will definitely keep that in mind. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I will save that, and I will give you a buzz. Hopefully, either sometime today or tomorrow, depending on what I'm doing for the rest of the day. So, but anyways, I guess I will go ahead and I will get off here, because I gotta make some phone calls, call some people back. Okay, yeah, that would be great. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'll hit you up at some point. And we'll talk more about it. So, but anyways, for anyone who has been watching this later on, I hope you enjoyed watching my vinyl spread and all that, and I know you enjoyed it. So so yeah, I will skedaddle and I will try to be back soon. So thank you for watching, and thank you to my fellow tarot reader over here. He's been cheering me on. So thank you for that. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.